Hi everyone, I'm Chris Peters, and I am excited to join you on this Tuesday of Holy Week. I'm gathered in the narthex here at church, or the gathering area, and I'm excited for the day when we don't have to do this social distancing anymore, and we can gather here and be a community together and worship God together. Today we're going to reflect about the life of Jesus on Tuesday of the last week of his life. On Monday, Jesus cleansed the temple as a way of demonstrating that he is God and that he came to cleanse and restore true worship. And today we read this in Mark 11, verse 27. It says, "When they arrived again in Jerusalem, while Jesus was walking in the temple courts, the chief priests and the teachers of the law and the elders came to him. 'By what authority are you doing these things?' they asked. 'And who gave you authority to do this?' It says in previous chapters that the religious leaders were afraid of Jesus, and they were looking for ways to trap him, and they were challenging his authority to be teaching and to healing and cleansing the temple, and basically his authority as a religious leader. Jesus was unafraid by their petty challenge. He challenged them back by asking them a question regarding John the Baptist, who was widely considered to be a prophet who spoke the truth of God. And John had previously proclaimed that Jesus was the Christ sent from God. So Jesus was putting the leaders on the spot. He was basically saying, if you believe that John is a prophet, then you know that I have authority from God. In doing so, Jesus was giving them an opportunity to own their reasons for rejecting his authority. But the religious leaders chose not to rise to the challenge. They did not want to admit that John was a prophet because they did not want to be wrong. They did also not want to claim that John was not a prophet because he had authority with the people, and they did not want the crowds to revolt and disregard them. So the religious leaders were afraid to be wrong, and they were afraid of what others might think, so they chose to disregard Jesus' loving invitation towards true worship and to the truth of Jesus. You know, like the priests and the elders, sometimes we do the same thing to Jesus. We hate the idea of anyone having authority over our life, unless it's us. All of us right now are reacting to the authority of our leaders to shut down our state or shut down our country or force a corporation to do certain things as a wartime effort in response to the virus. There's a part of all of us that like to be in authority. And so like these leaders in the story, we prefer to interrupt Jesus and say, you know, where are you getting the authority to do this, Jesus? And Jesus challenges us with the truth. And sometimes we disregard him because we don't want to admit that we are wrong, or because we're afraid of what others will think if we give Jesus the authority to lead our lives. So today, as a family, I want you to think about these questions. How do you usually respond to authority? Do you willingly receive it? Do you revolt against it? Do you push against it? Do you think, no, I'm going to go my way? Are you going to have sort of a cowboy spirit? Maybe today you can take a moment and admit to Jesus that, like all of us, we struggle with his authority at times, especially when we can't see what's happening, and at this time when we are in isolation from one another and school has been canceled. It's easy to question where Jesus is and what his authority might be in a situation. But what I want you to do today, as we think about Jesus is being challenged by the religious leaders and him saying, you know what, I have authority, I want you to ask Jesus for help. Ask him to demonstrate that why he's the only worthy one to lead your life. All the other institutions around us are revealing themselves to be temporary. But Jesus is eternal. He can be your rock and your redeemer. And so I pray that you'd ask him for help as you face the situations that we're in now, as we face situations, even if it means admitting that you're reluctant for his leadership and to embrace his authority. And even if it means that others might reject you because of your trust in Jesus. What I'm challenging you to do today, and myself to do today, in the midst of all the uncertainty that we face, to say, you know what, Jesus, I admit that you have authority over my life. I thank you for how you've revealed your authority, not with strong power and a sort of a domineering spirit, but with a servant heart. And we're going to follow Jesus all this week to see how he demonstrates his authority, not by lording it over others, but by making himself a servant, obedient to death on a cross. So today I want you to be encouraged that Jesus is in control, even though we don't always understand what he's doing, and that ultimately he will be revealed as the one who has the ultimate authority over everything. Have a great night.